Hey, so I'm gonna just cut to the chase. I'm talking to a super duper mega Kanye West fan, and some would say a stan.
Yeah,
And
that's an over exaggeration, but in terms of honestly the fandom of his music and him as a person, like in terms of like his I don't give a fuck approach on life of I'm gonna be me, yeah. Like both of those two things, he's great.
y- I think that's where I agree with you on the fandom of Kanye West, and I think it gets missed that because you support how he goes about his business, that you actually support the business or the things that are coming out of his mouth. It's like, no, bro, I don't support some of the stuff he says. I just support for one, his right to say it and our right to respond and act as such. And just like, dude, like, put it out there. You remember back in the day, right? When you're going out with the guys, you're trying to get on some women, and you see the one you want. And at one point in your life, you finally get past the picking the one you want and you let them choose because you learn when you let them choose, everybody ends up happier because they understand the dynamic, you understand the dynamic. They had the phone conversation or the conversation like, okay, so which one? Okay, blah blah blah. So that's how I feel about Kanye.
Yeah.
Put it out there and then let the people choose, and whoever likes it likes it. So Kanye and Candace Owens, Kanye designed a shirt that says "White Lives Matter." Candace Owens was seen with him wearing it. Black Twitter, Instagram, group text. Black America is pretty outraged by it. I've heard some different from like, how dare he do this, or he's trolling, to he's a genius, and you just gotta understand that Kanye's speaking to a higher power, some shit like that, some a higher plane that we're not understanding. You know what I mean? I just think it's yay being yay.
That that's like the easiest like way to even just to damn these niggas can't catch. That's like the easiest way of putting it in my opinion. Like I think that that brother he does everything for a reason, and ultimately, agree, disagree, no opinion on it at all. He gonna do what he want to do, and that's like he's earned that right. He's lived that right his entire life. Like I mean, George Bush doesn't care about black people. First of all, George Bush, I'm sure, was offended by that. Like, there might have been white people that were Bush supporters. It could have been black people that were Bush supporters that just weren't behind him saying that shit on national TV during a time of crisis.
Mike Myers wasn't with it.
Chris Tucker might have not been. I mean, everybody seemed like they were thrown off by it, right? It's a
Mhm.
random comment to make on national TV, considering what's going on. And that's like the biggest thing that he took away from it because that's what he saw. So that was his synopsis of what he saw. And I think that with the climate of today, him doing that shirt for his Yeezy Seasons 9 out in Paris it stole the headlines over all them expensive, which he kind of put it on his page. It stole the headlines of the entire fashion week already. Like, you know what I mean? And to quote him greatly in his music, no one man should have all that power. Like, because like why does he have the power to get ruffle people's feathers like it? And I get it, it's because a lot of Black America does love his music. A lot of Black America does stand behind this dude. Like he is somebody, and I think because especially the way his career started, everybody has an attachment to the what old Kanye, right, used to be. But to me, old Kanye has never left. I don't think he makes the same kind of music, and I don't think that he lives the same type of lifestyle. So I think that obviously he can't be what he used to be because he's not what he used to be. But like at the same time, he's still the same outspoken dude that he was then.
Well, you
There's
know what it is, right?
change in his life. Like
You know the difference.
what?
People identified with the message, the old message. So now when the message is going in their favor, it's it's okay. Now, excuse me, when the message is going in their favor, it's cool. but now that it's not, it's problematic. And here's how I looked at it. I I I I didn't like it. I wouldn't have done it. I think that it because of because of the racial dynamics in America today, I think for those who like would really buy into that, it's just problematic. But at the same time, I think there needs to be a balancing act in society for how we view those things. Because think about some of the white people who are offended by Black Lives Matter. And I could say that, dude, you're wrong for being offended by Black Lives Matter. You like that should that should not be a problem. You know, Black Lives Matter, period. So when you just isolate it and put it in a vacuum, I say you should be okay with somebody black wearing White Lives Matter, period. In a vacuum, but we don't live in a vacuum. So let's pull it out, right? And let's see how it makes an effect. And if it's makes a negative effect on black people, I think it's bad. But I also think that black people should stop giving it power. No one man should have all that power, like you said, because when you talk about it, when you tweet about it, when you bring it, when you talk about it on your show, it's in your group text, you share the post, you're outraged by it, it does exactly what he said it would. And if we're being perfectly honest, if this is an attack on the Black Lives Matter movement, not the sentiment, but the actual organization, I mean, we saw their financials.
Well, we all know it's fraud. That shit's fraudulent. And the thing is that people still supported it too, knowing that it was fraudulent. And like because the I don't know if they trademarked it. I don't even know if you can't. Like I'm assuming you could. It's because it's a statement, right? Like you could trademark that. But like we all know that the statement wise that Black lives do, first of all, they do matter. And the idea, of course, behind the statement in general was it seems like it didn't. So that's where it came from. But the fact that people are getting ruffled over this switching of one word in the statement is just kind of ridiculous to me because we got so much better stuff to be worried about than Kanye putting that shit on a cotton t-shirt. Like everybody's got their own personal shit that they got to deal with, whether you work for somebody, you have your own business, you don't work for anyone, and you don't have your own business. Like there's so much more out here to be worried about. I mean, people have got kids. Like there's just so much. Think about the way that people get upset and put shit, the type of energy that they put into that type of stuff. And if they just channel that energy and put it into anything else that they do in life, how much better off they would be. It's not to say that you can't have an opinion on it and it be right or wrong opinion. There is no right or wrong way to feel, right? But like at the same time, come on, man. Why are people like
no, there's a right way.
Getting so upset about a statement that in reality, whether it needs to be said or not, is true. Because white lives do matter.
So question for you. Do you support him making the shirt?
Yeah, as an artist, I think that like he has the freedom of speech to do what he wants. And if that's kind of like what he wants to put together, by God, he should be able to do it.
Would you wear it?
Do I support the shirt? Nah, because I wouldn't buy the shirt. So like that shows if I support it or not. Like, would I put my money towards it? Because that's what it is. He put it out as a statement, but like at the same time, it's still a piece of clothing. And so like, nah, would I buy the shirt? No.
Would you wear it if it were given to you?
I need to see the front of it. If the front of it's hot, yeah.
It has like I think like a Pope on it.
Like the Pope, but I need to see, I'd actually really do need to see the shirt, like see it. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, if I think it's hot, yeah, I'll wear it. Like I have a Confederate patch. Obviously we'll do custom hats and stuff. Mm-hmm. I was gonna do a jacket with the Confederate patch on a jacket. And so like I knew that if I ever wore it out, that there would be people that would say something to me. some people might even try and put their hands on me. But the thing is that like the point of the hat was, or a hat, like I didn't decide if I was going to do it as a hat or like a jacket or like whatever, but putting the patch on it in general would have been more so of the design of like what I wanted to put on it, and not, it didn't have anything to do with how I felt about it. It would have had everything to do with what I thought would look good in the theme of whatever it is that I was trying to make it as.
Okay, so do you think that's problematic for Black culture, for someone to embrace something that many would say is anti-Black culture?
I think it ultimately does depend on what it is. I look at that as a flag, and I understand specifically with that, like what that flag means to some, and what era that flag came from, and what it stems from. Right?
Okay.
Like that would be like me on Halloween if I dressed up as a Ku Klux Klan member, right? Like I would never do that. But like at the same time, basically if Kanye wanted to put on a white sheet, how would people react to that? Like to me, that's a little bit more direct. Like that's some direct ass shit. Like a White Lives Matters t-shirt is not direct at all, because the statement is true, right? Like it's true.
Mhm.
It's a true statement. Whether it has to be said or not, it still is a true statement. And so the reason behind him doing it, I mean, he explained it, is basically what I just said. He said, because it's true. And so he could have put,
And it's a rollout.
Yeah, exactly. He could have put Mexican Lives Matter. I mean, he could have put anyone's lives matter. And with it, I think it's uproar because it's white. And I think that like the weird part about it is that white people specifically are, they're white, bro. Like they've been running the world, it seems like, to a degree, and they are
But they're not allowed to be. So here's the weird thing, right? We can show up anywhere in a shirt that says "Proud Black Man," and you go, "Okay, he's a proud black man." But if someone white does it, you go, "Oh wow, proud." With a shirt that says "Proud White Man," you go, "Wow, he's a racist."
Yeah, what does that mean?
And here's a weird thing, I guess, like a paradigm shift that like our society needs, is that no matter where you are, like on the racial power totem pole or whatever group you identify with, you should be able to be prideful in that, and it shouldn't be offensive. Like my black pride should not offend someone who is Latin American. My black pride shouldn't offend someone who's white. Someone's white pride shouldn't offend someone who's black. But I think the problem is, especially in America, because of the way that this country was built, the history of the country, that a white pride or like a white lives matter, that sentiment right there, it speaks to the oppression of others.
Precisely. That's really the best way to put it. And I think that, are we more upset with Kanye for putting the shirt on and making it and wearing it, or are we upset at white people? And like, I think that that's like where we got to really ask ourselves, are we putting this energy in the right area? And it's like, you coon, right? That's like kind of what black people want to say. You coon.
David, wake up.
Hi. No, you keep going.
Why are you furthering? Oh,
Chase Davis on the beat.
why are you furthering?
Put that shit on.
That's like kind of like the black sentiment about it. And it is just kind of just like, man, we are straying further and further away from what the real issue is by that type of shit.
Well, I think that there's so much wrong with the way that Black America is trying to attack the quote unquote issues in Black culture. And I put it in quote unquote, right? Because for one, the loud voices of the liberal Black left want us to think the same way. And like they want I'm not bothered by the shirt because I don't think it means anything.
Me
I
neither.
don't think it empowers white people to be any more white than they already are.
I don't even think it necessarily empowers black people. Like, I mean, like,
I don't think white people even give a damn about the shirt. I think it's black media covering it.
fucking people that care about that shit.
But that's the problem. Think about the stuff that black media covers. Think about like the prominent, loud black voices. You know what I mean? Baller Alert, The Shade Room, The Spiritual Word. Name that loud. Justin LeBoy. I mean, The Breakfast Club. The places that Black America goes to consume information and the information that is given to us from our own quote unquote sources are the problem. Like, hey dog, go read something of substance. Hey, Breakfast Club, can you give us something to make us smarter on a regular basis, not like every now and again, you know? Uh, why do I care? Like, I was on Spiritual Word the other day, and not like just on it, just it was in my feed. And it had something with a rose on it. What is spiritual about a darn woman sex toy? I'm confused here. And why does our community get so consumed in the lives of entertainers? I, I mean, we're sitting here talking about entertainer, but I mean, our life is much larger than these entertainers, and we don't.
And more importantly, let's just keep it 100. At this point, I think what do you think Kanye's last great album was? Great. Yeah, great.
I thought Life of Pablo was a great album personally.
All right, so that's 2016.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about it's been, in your opinion, 6 years since he dropped a great project. The man isn't even an entertainer. Like, he is an entertainer, but like he's not even an entertainer anymore. This dude, since that album, he's became a billionaire. He sells clothing, shoes. He's got school. He's done all this other shit. Like, I don't even want to call him an entrepreneur. Like,
no, he's a mogul.
Yeah, like
conglomerate.
Yeah, like I mean, it said best on his Sierra Leone remix by Jay-Z. I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man. Like I don't think that like Kanye. I don't even think he's an entertainer anymore. Like he's something different from that now, and so it's just like he's relevant still, and that I think that's like the one thing that makes it so taboo for everybody is the fact that Kanye through it all has remained relevant. Like he's somebody would go in hiding. Kanye used to go, like when he would drop out, like he would not talk for like a year or two. And, then would pop out. He'd either tweet. I used to love his fucking Twitter, bro. Like when I was in high school, I used to have the alert on and everything. I mean, obviously I followed him, but like he was so great on Twitter because he would drop a lot of gems, and he still drops gems. Even today, through the bullshit that everybody likes to look at and talk about, he still be saying some real shit. And like a lot of people do, though. Like there's people that don't have the platform that feel the same way as him that say real shit too. And like,
hey, question for you though.
Go for it.
Do you think Kanye is irresponsible with his influence? Comma, does he have a? I guess is he entitled to? Is he entitled to positively represent Black America?
Chuck said it best, man. I am not a role model. I think that parents should be people's role models. So no, I don't think that to answer the latter part of it, no, I don't think that he has to be that figure. Absolutely not. I don't believe that. I think that everybody should latch on to what it is that they do believe. To some, he is, of course, right? Like, I think that you should just latch on to what it is. There have been plenty of bad influences. Hitler used to exist, and I don't think motherfuckers latched on to that. He was in the media too.
And I mean, no, they latched on to it. I mean, it started a world war.
Some people, it depended on what your fancy was, like what you agreed with. Look at Matt stepping up in the pocket. There's a flag though. Oh, it's not holding. But I think
So
you have to latch on to whatever it is that you see. I mean, for him,
let's let's
he
hang out here for a reason. Hold on, let's hang out here for a for a second. On this, what Charles Barkley said, because I talked about this on Tuesday's pod a little bit,
okay.
and the way that what's my man's name, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar came out against Kyrie Irving, and he said he was a buffoon, said he pretty much devalued what other athletes have done and set them back as just being viewed by dumb jocks. And I kind of took the point of, you're an entitled fuck, Mr. Abdul-Jabbar, to think that people aren't smart enough to understand good and bad, stupid and dumb. And
But you said it best, I believe. Literally, I think I don't know if maybe I did hear it on the clip or something, but like, you said it best. I mean, he's a get off my lawn old man, bro.
oh yeah, but
That's like,
either get off my lawn, old man. And then what really got me about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is, hey dog, you are
come on,
Jesus, Matt Ryan. You are 7 feet tall. You are 7 feet tall. You're from New York. You went to college in LA. You spent a little bit of time. Where do you spend time at? In Milwaukee. And you go back to LA, and you're a Muslim. You don't represent the ideals of blue collar Black America.
he does it, and on top of that, I just think that it's just like, bro, there's nothing wrong with you saying your piece. Like, you're headed off this earth here soon, and we all know that. And like, the older you get, I have to imagine the more unfiltered you become as a person. Hell, I know I've seen it out of my grandparents. Like, they always didn't mind saying no shit. Like, because at the end of the day, you've held your tongue probably long enough in your life, and
Yeah.
the older you get, you have less time, and it's just like, well, this is how I fucking feel. And sometimes it's good that you say that, because then the younger generation can look at that and be like, you know what? Sometimes they weren't wrong. They were absolutely right. I think with their case, I think that those are just a bunch of dudes, like with Kareem specifically, targeting certain basketball players. Kareem is also somebody that made not as much money as them, and like I feel like that's like a big
that's part of it.
Part of, like, because Shaq and Chuck they're more, and Shaq being more recent than Chuck, but they're more recently guys that have played in the league. And like, Shaq is obviously, we talked about this with fucking Rudy Gobert, bro. Like, he's pissed because it's just like, I can't believe that this nigga is getting this amount of money, and like, I was the most dominant player in the league, and even though I made a lot of money, I didn't even make that in a contract. And he's like upset, but it's just like, Shaq, it's a decade later, brother. Kobe Bryant didn't make that type of money either. Like,
and here's the thing I'll say.
They're about to be out of field goal range.
Yeah, they are out of field goal range. Chuck will say some crazy stuff, but I listen to enough Chuck, even when he starts doing his car wash stuff. Chuck does not come off as like a hater.
Jesus.
He comes off as, but the point of this piece is, I don't like what Kyrie reposted. I don't even think we should talk about Sandy Hook unless we're saying RIP to the victims. Okay. He posted some Alex Jones nonsense, and maybe he's a buffoon for that post. But I just find it comical.
That comment by Kareem also came, like, he posted that a long time ago.
But I find it comical.
Recent as hell. It wasn't that fucking recent. It wasn't in September. He posted that shit in like July. Like,
well, Kareem had to get to it when he could. But I just find it comical that we want to defend free speech. We want to allow people to have a voice. We want to have athletes be more than athletes. And then the second an athlete says something we don't like, or an entertainer says something we don't like, these false gods, these bad role models that people shouldn't look up to, people get upset when they do it. Like, dude, I don't know how, and maybe it's something we put our brains together one day and figure out how do we change the dynamic in Black culture so people will stop trying to pursue these careers that are very difficult to pursue. And I mean, and not pursue them, but fall in love with and idolize them, right? What are the chances that you are going to be a professional athlete? Very low. Because there's a lot that's out of your control. Like, you can't control your genetics, you can't control your injuries, you can't control when you hit your athletic peak. There's just so much stuff out of your control. A rapper, hell, rap, cool, that's great, but what if you never meet the right producer? What if the right person never hears your music? Like, these are pie in the sky. Shout out to Baked Pie, but these are pie in the sky dreams. Or you want to go be a dope boy or a scammer, right? High risk, high reward, but there's not a path that you can carve out for yourself to help you get to that goal. You can try, but dude, if you want to be a professional, you just want to be a middle class American, you know, eventually buy you a house in your 30s, raise your family, and all that good stuff. That's what we need. We need a Black middle class. Everybody wants to go rags to riches. The way you go rags to but the way you get rags to riches is you do it generationally. You slowly elevate each generation. Where if you take out student loans, maybe you handle your money in a way so your children don't have to take out student loans, Maybe you didn't invest in the stock market at a young age because you didn't know jack shit about it, but you finally learn about it. So you teach your kids at a young age to do that, You take out a great life insurance policy so that when you pass away, your kids get some cold hard cash that they can use to better their life. I think that's what gets missed. Not, oh, let me put my chains on. Let me put that shit on. Let me go play football. Let me go sell dope. Let me just, let me. Again, we just had a damn near 30-minute conversation about, granted, a mogul, somebody who's very talented, but entertainer.
That's that we all know from multiple different avenues.
Yeah, but like
us, because we grew up on it. When he became irrelevant, when he became a known figure,
he was an entertainer
as a producer first, and then as an artist, and then the third thing would have been controversial take person was like the last between. Even like I said, if it starts with the George Bush hates Black people comment, like. I love how people, and the internet is so great in 2022 in a sense of, I love how Kanye went. Came out. I love how people. I love the internet sometimes because I saw a picture of George Bush, and the quote under it said, "Kanye West don't like Black people." Or no, Kanye West don't care about Black people. But it's like a picture of like George Bush, and like it's his quote, but it's obviously like
bro. And I just we're gonna transition in a second, but I just wish Black people would accept and realize that we are more. We are more than just one way of thinking. We are more than just one agenda. We are more than one political party. We are more than looking up to our celebrities. To look up to the businessman in your hometown. Look up to the lawyer, the good insurance salesman.
Yeah.
Look up to these people, man. These are the role models. Look up to the guy on the school board, the principal. The good Black teacher who comes back, gives back to the community. Look up to these people, man.